All right, so here as college students, we all want to cut corners and save money. We live and die by the ways we spend. Our next speaker, Natalie Zacek, is going to show us how to be ballin' on a budget as she paints us the picture in the art of thrifting.
We all do it. We all face this same issue, and yet we all say that we're going to stop. Now, I've taken a good look at all of you since the time I've walked in, and I'm just going to go out on a limb and say it. I think instead of being Walmart people, y'all look like I would find you more at Target. So, so picture this with me. You're bored. Maybe you're avoiding the homework that I know you all have, or maybe you're an adult so you don't get the joys of the homework, but you're bored anyway. So you hop in the car and you drive over to Target, and you know, I've heard it all. You're going just to look, or you don't even have the money, you just want to see what's new out there. But like I said, I know you, and you're coming out of Target with the stuff you wanted, the stuff you didn't know you wanted, and the stuff you probably don't even want anyway. So the point of that is that we all do it. We want stuff. So in my case, I'm already working full-time, but that's on school and does not have much monetary value, if you know what I mean. So I would say the same goes for you. So with two options, the first being you can stop what you're doing, which is easy to say, but personally, I think it's very hard to do. Or you can, two, continue to buy this stuff just to get tired of it within a few weeks. But what if I told you that there's a third option, and it's my personal favorite, a how-to shop more and spend less. Thrift shopping is my favorite way to continue to do all of the shopping that you want to do while not breaking the bank. As long as you understand the art of thrift shopping, the A, attitude, R, research, and T, tailoring of the clothes, then I think you'll be on your way to shopping more and spending less in no time. So A, attitude. Now, if you were with me on this Thursday afternoon back in North Carolina, sometime last year, you would have found me up at the cash register at a Goodwill. Now, I was very excited looking, and in my hand, I had a pair of Birkenstocks. They were in my size, the style I wanted, those $100 pair of shoes for $3. Now, within seconds of the cashier opening her mouth, my excited smile completely dropped. She said, "Oh, what a find, but I'm gonna have to take those from you because someone just called and said they left those exact shoes here because they accidentally walked out with the pair of shoes they were trying on." Oh, that's so funny. Now, what I wanted to do was call the woman a liar and run out of there with the shoes. But I did what any good Christian would do, and I handed them back over as I said, "Oh, you know what? I hate when that happens. You walk out of the store with a pair of shoes that aren't yours." So I walked out empty-handed that day, unlike the other lady that, you know, had my shoes. But I decided the next time I was bored, I'd give it another try. So I go back to this Goodwill, and I walk to the shoe aisle. I go over there. I'm thinking maybe it was a mistake. No, I didn't find the Birkenstocks, but what I did find was a black Converse. Now, it was just the left one, so I'm thinking, you know, maybe the right one is just behind the rack or something. So I'm searching all around in there, and then I'm thinking, okay, these are kind of expensive shoes. Maybe they do what some stores do where one is up at the front. So I walk over up to the front, and guess who I see? My favorite cashier. So I have my left Converse, and I ask her, you know, "Oh, do you have, you know, the other pair of shoes back here?" And she's chomping on her gum. She doesn't really look that excited to see me. And she looks up and she goes, "Nope, what we have is out on the rack." So I take the left Converse, put it back on the rack, it doesn't do much good, and walk out empty-handed for the second time. So I'm thinking, you know what, that's strike two. One more strike and you're out. So I go back to this Goodwill, crazy as it is. I avoid the shoe aisle altogether because, you know what, I've obviously that's not my strong suit. So I look over at the rest of the clothes. I'm looking in one of the bins, and I'm looking through all the t-shirts and stuff like that, and I feel something, and I pull out a right black Converse. So I'm thinking, you know what, either this is a really funny joke someone's playing on me, or I've just really scored. So I go back over to the shoe aisle, find the left Converse, get them, go up to the cash register, smile at my cash register lady, and she actually lets me buy these pair. So what I realized from that experience is that while it was sad to miss out on these pairs of shoes that I wanted, I did end up winning in the end. So Goodwills require good attitudes. So that is the A, the attitude in the art of thrift shopping. And now the research. So if you had been with me on this time, it was actually this year since I've been at school, and we go to the beach every single weekend, and while I'm at the beach or in different towns, I like to find other thrift stores because the ones here can get a little, picked through. So I searched Goodwills around me and couldn't really find anything, so my friends and I were actually at a Culver's. And if you would have zoomed out from this store and looked over, you would see a massive Goodwill, the size of probably a Walmart. But what was ironic about that is that one of my friends was saying, "Where on earth is the Goodwill?" And we were all so frustrated. Now, I had looked up Goodwills, but right before that time, we had stopped at 3 different ones. One was a donation center, so they didn't sell anything. One was just for furniture and art, and then the other was closed. So while I found the location of these Goodwills, I didn't see the evaluation of them. They didn't really have what I was looking for. So we didn't discover that there was that huge Goodwill there until the next time we went again. And we kind of laughed a little bit because instead this time I got on the app Yelp and looked up Goodwills. And I found the 3 that we stopped at. I found the closed one, and people had wrote reviews, "This is closed." And I found the furniture one, the same thing, and I also found the donation one. And within seconds, I figured out, probably don't go to those ones. And I did find a 4th one. And this one, everyone was saying they have the best clothes, it's a huge selection, and it's great. And so we drive to this Goodwill and figure out, you know what? We were right there the whole time. So from that experience, I learned that the evaluation is much more important than the location of it. And I will ask Yelp for the help next time. So that is the attitude of thrift shopping and the research in thrift shopping. And so now for my last point will be the tailoring of thrift shopping. So what do banana peels and apple cores and watermelon rinds all have in common? For me, I think that they're all garbage. Now, they only have benefits for me until, I've eaten them, and then I don't really want the rest anymore. But for a different group, this stuff is just beginning to be useful. So how could anyone or anything see this as useful when it's just garbage? But the thing about this is what I realized from when I was younger and I would play at my grandma's house, she was very big into gardening. She was the stereotypical grandma that had the beautiful garden, but we all loved it. And what she did differently than her neighbors is she had this little pile in her backyard. And it had all of the garbage that I'm talking about, all of the banana peels and stuff like that. And all my cousins and I would avoid that spot in the yard at all costs. You wouldn't go over there because it smelled bad. But what she told us is she was like, "See how my plants are way bigger than all the neighbors, and that garbage that y'all are looking at it's just beginning to be useful for all of my plants." So this picture of one person's garbage being another person's treasure is something that I like to think about when thinking about buying clothes at thrift stores. Even with a compost pile, you're not just going to throw a banana peel on a sunflower or something and hope that, maybe it's going to double in size. But when all of those scraps of fruit are combined together, and then you allow the oxygen to break it down, and then they can be used to help the plants grow. But it's a process. So not every pair of jeans is made to fit everyone. We know that can be quite obvious. But it can be frustrating when you locate all of these jeans and dresses and shirts if you've ever tried thrift shopping, and none of them really fit quite right, or they're not exactly what you want. So that's when the T comes into play. Tailoring when you thrift shop is way easier because cutting up a pair of jeans that was $4 is a lot different than doing it to one you just forked over $50. So I like to test things out on the things, I like to test this kind of distressing or cutting of stuff whenever I'm thrift shopping because, you know what, why not? So from what you can see a little bit back here, that's what I do to some of the stuff that I thrift shop is just cut it or distress it because it's fun to do and it makes it unique. Now, that is the attitude and the research and the tailoring that goes into the art of thrift shopping. I love the older things that people have gotten rid of. I feel like that's the stuff that has a character or a story, and it can't really be replicated. Now, I don't think that doing all of that browsing of going to Target or however you like to do it, online shopping, or even those little Instagram boutiques that seem to always pop up every time you open up your phone, none of that's bad, but if you can take the inspiration from those things that you're already doing and then find it at thrift stores for much cheaper, then I think that you've discovered the art of thrift shopping.